Abyss, do the open for me with gaping jaws of hell. Bring death to the living, bring it fucking well. I call to the Shadim, come forth, enter my dreams, enter my dreams, enter my dreams. Shadim, enter my dreams, enter my dreams. Azazya'il, the fallen watcher, the wicked one, the one that touch ya. I bet you didn't know. Black gold, Azazel, black gold, all hail, black gold, Azazya'il, all hail, the fallen watcher, all hail, black gold, Azazya'il, all hail, the black gold, all hail, the black gold, Nephilim, watcha. Azazel, emanated power of desert waste. Do the air, all hail, the fallen watcher. Azazel, Nephilim, immortal spirits. Enoch, let's fucking exhale. Cockle demon, our demon will never fail. The cockle demon, our true will never fail. Like a death, time to look at the black gold. Never bow down, not held down. Azazel, 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 Azazya'il, Azazel, 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 and the black gold. All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Azazel, Azazya'il, and the work that I'm doing right now. But we all know Azazel, okay? But do you know who Azazya'il is? This is John Vermillion's work. I started this 2 years ago, and I have unfinished work, hence the ram you see in the back here, which I wasn't able to get 2 years ago, and it came to me through a great client friend who is just one of the best. She mailed this out as a gift, and now I can actually make, maybe I can show you guys. I got the peacock feathers. It's almost done. There's still a few things I need to complete with this. Now, working with Azazya'il is in his angelic form. That's his portal. And it's utilizing magical squares and unlocking the squares. And John Vermillion explains how to do that, as you can see right here. And when you work with the Islamic Azazel, like the from Iblīs, Shayatin, you're going to harness his energies through the sun and Jupiter. And he explains why. And it has to do with the magical squares and the names and the distillation of how they go into the magical box. And he talks about the Saturn one. That is the most common emanation of Azazel. Okay? So we got Azazel on the left-hand adversarial path, and then we got Azazya'il, still very dark energy. I will tell you, when I was working with him 2 years ago, I had crazy experiences. I did see these crazy colors come through, energy come through, which of the colors of the peacock energy colors. I also had Azazel, one of the most powerful attempt of possession with me. He mounted me for like 3 days straight, but through that possession I communicated with the mantis, and I didn't know any of this. Okay, after I did this, I actually messaged John, and he said yeah, okay. And I saw how my own family were being controlled by the mantises, a different mantisoid, whatever. But I had a lot of crazy things happen. And then I stopped doing the work for whatever reason. Another spirit probably came in. And 2 years later, here I am, back again, trying to do this a little bit more serious and working the squares more. I didn't even really when I was working with Azazya'il 2 years ago, I don't remember if I correctly unlocked the box and I still was able to get a crazy experience, right? So I've done my research, I've gotten it written down. I'm gonna go through the differences between Azazel in the Hebrew Bible and in the Fallen Watchers. I'm gonna try to get as much information as I can, and then, you know, this grimoire. So thank you, John Vermillion. I like his approach. The thing is, with this work, you're gonna have this is Azazel giving glory to Allah, though. Okay, so you have to really, if you still have a Christian cold, this is going to be difficult for you. Even for me, I'm still kind of iffy about some things on here, but I'm just going to do it because I really do live more for the experience. You know, I really like my experiences, my astral experiences. So I'm going to give it a go. Okay. Now, is that all I wanted to say before I start talking? Oh, if you guys like that video, that was from 2 years ago, and you can tell the energy that I was brought through from there, okay? Oh, also, this has to do with being a Sufi, an Islamic mystic, okay? That's who he is. John Vermillion is a Sufi, which is a Islamic mystic. And he loves magical squares. It connects to the vibration more purely the way that he does it. Okay, so well with fasting, exercise, and health, and then all of a sudden I start to indulge and I lose my shit, and now here I am, probably heavier than I've been in a long time. So I have to restart everything. I can't go straight into the fast because I started eating carbs again and sugar. So I have eliminated the carbs and then the sugar. And then when I'm only on the meats and vegetables, then my body will be more adjusted. My insulins won't be so crazy. But Azazya'il will be helping me with this. So the other thing is that ram skull is used as a idol, as a scapegoat, and to put all of your guilt and whatever you're feeling bad about into that, because he feeds on that, because that was his function, okay? Which we'll talk about in here. The only thing that I struggle with is I don't see myself as a sinful person. I don't even steal or lie. Like, I mean, if I have to lie, but I don't really care to tell the truth, because I don't care how someone's going to react to the truth. Not my problem if you can't handle the truth. But I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can do is the shame about not like how I look. It's the only thing that's really bugging me. I'm gonna have to dig deep and go back, I guess, into, I don't know. I'm sure he has provoked emotion in me, because but we will see how I deal with that. But anyways, so that's what that really is for. But let's talk about the differences between the adversarial and the more pure angelic Jupiter. We got the Saturn energy, and we're gonna the difference between there. Okay. All right. So Azazel first appears in the Hebrew Bible in Leviticus 16 in the Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement ritual. Okay. So the 2 goats were chosen. One was sacrificed to Yahweh, and guess who the other one was sacrificed to? That's right, to Azazel. And it was sent into the wilderness. The goats symbolically carried the people's sins away. Okay? But in the book of Enoch, the Watchers, Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, not in the canonical Bible, but influential in later tradition, Azazel depicted as a leader of the fallen angels, the Watchers, okay, who descended to earth before the flood. He taught humanity forbidden skills, crafting swords, armor, which obviously leads to war, making metalwork and weapons, war, cosmetics and beauty. He specialized in this, and he specialized in sorcery and occult secrets. So these teachings contributed to a moral corruption, and God commanded the archangel Raphael to bind Azazel and imprison him in the desert in a place that's called Dudiel until Judgment Day. Azazya'il, there's different, we got Azazel, Azazel, Azazya'il, Azazya'il, different spellings in Texas and folklore. Azāzīl, which Azazil, Islamic traditions sometimes associates his name with the pre-fall name of Iblis and Satan, or Shayatan. Okay, Azazya'il, Azazel. These are forms, later demonological sources. Now, this is also a maimon or a maimon. Some occult sources equate this to Azazel with the members of the hell's hierarchy, like a maimon, king of the south, the scapegoat, linked to Yom Kippur goat ritual. Okay. Now, the fallen watcher, the leader of the watchers, and Enoch, demon of the desert, in Jewish and occult lore, the archdemon, Earl of the Duke, in the European demonological grimoires. Okay, he is the king of the Surim, the goat spirits, desert demons, in a folk under the name of Azazya'il, and is associated with the figure Iblis, who fell for refusing to bow to Adam. In his Islamic traditions, Azazya'il is commonly described as Iblīs, named before the fall, especially in tafsīr, or Qur'anic commentary, and mystical literature. Okay, Sufis don't reduce Iblis to a cartoon villain. Instead, they ask the deeper question. Now we're going to talk about how the Sufis, the Islamic mystics, see him. They have a deeper question, like, was Iblis evil, or was he tragically devoted? This is important. The two dominant Sufi interpretations, okay? Iblis as a tragic monotheist. This is the famous mystic view. Iblis refuses to bow to Adam because he basically says, I bow to none but God. In this reading, Iblis is obsessed with pure tawhid, absolutely oneness of God, unwilling to bow to form, matter, or created beings. Okay, this is Iblis. Now, Sufis like Al-Hallaj, Ahmed Ghazali, and later Rumi explored this idea. Iblis became a symbol of love taken to excess, where devotion turns into disobedience. Okay, now, this is not praise of Iblis, but it's a warning that even divine love without humility becomes Iblis as an archetype of ego, nafs, more common in practical Sufism or Sufism. Iblis represents keeper, spirit pride, attachment to one's own station, refusing to submit when God's will contradicts self. So, in Sufism, Iblis is the archetype of archetypical rebel, Shayatan, the function of misguidance. You got the Iblis, jinn, and the fire symbolisms. Let's talk about that. Sufis love symbolism. Jinn are made from smokeless fire. Okay, fire represents intellect, subtlety, virility, pride when uncontrolled. Iblis saying, he says, you created me from fire and him out of clay. Why do I have to bow? Now, this is fire dispensing earth, intellect despising embodiment, spirit rejecting humanity. Adam being clay represents receptivity, surrender, capacity to reflect divine names. So Adam wins, apparently, but not by power, but because of the emptiness. And Sufi Iblis, the real being, but primary a symbol, represents excessive devotion turned into pride, basically. Okay, the ego disguising itself as purity. It's his refusal, and it's a tragic, not it's not I'm not going to even try that. Now, in Sufism, Iblis knows God, but cannot disappear into God. Okay, because of his eye of being prideful. But the Luciferian Azazel, often as the Watchers, the king, the initiator, represents rebellion as awakening, the forbidden knowledge for liberation, refusal of imposed hierarchy. Totally two different, right? In Luciferianism, Azazel chose himself even against divine Luciferian Azazel. The punishment, initiation into darkness. Whew, it's hot in my room. Now the suffering, it's transformational fire. Okay, Azazel is not waiting for mercy. He becomes stronger through opposition. Knowledge versus obedience. Okay, knowledge versus obedience. This is the psychological fault. This is the psychological fault line. Sufism, knowledge without humility equals blindness. Obedience is not slavery. It is ego death. Adam wins because he submits. Okay. But Luciferianism, obedience equals stagnation. Knowledge is liberation. Adam becomes powerful because he eats from the tree. Azazel, Lucifer, is the ultimate spiritual goal. But we got the Sufi Iblis. Goal of the path is called Frana, annihilation of self. Baka'a, substances in God. Iblis fails because he cannot vanish. He clings to the I, the pride. Now, Luciferian Azazel, the goal of the path is apotheosis, self-deification, consciousness of individualism. Azazel succeeds because he refuses to dissolve. Okay, so totally two different concepts, but it's not to say that when you work with Azazel and from the Saturn energy, that it's not Azazel. It's just a fractal of him. When you work with him through this, you're getting the purest form. Now, I'm curious to see what I'm going to receive. This is why I'm actually reading it too. I want to know personally what he tells me about God, because I'm Luciferian, so I really don't. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things still, and I'm okay with saying that. Like, there's so many ways I can go, but I have had experiences. I do know some things. I know that this is going to be interesting. So if anybody wants to like tiptoe and try something new, and you can get over the Allah thing, then try this work. I don't think I'm going to call out to Allah, but I am going to do some of the stuff in here. 99% of the work in here. If I do have an experience, don't listen. I won't become a Christian. Okay, I promise you guys that. That's not in my blood. I don't have this struggle of identity, you know. But I definitely am interested. I definitely am curious because of the experience that I had 2 years ago. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'm going to finish my candles and my magic squares down here. I got some more work I gotta do, and I think I was gonna try to attempt to say goodbye in Islam, but I don't want to. So bye.